Hello everyone. Today we are going to solve the problem. Move all negative elements to the end. So it is a difficulty easy question. So given an unsorted array ARR having both negative numbers and the positive integers. So our task is to place all the negative elements to the end of the array without changing the order of the positive elements and the negative elements. So the order of or the relative order of positive and negative elements should not be changed. But we need to move all the negative elements to the end of array. That's it. So the note is don't return any array, just in place of an array. So make all the necessary changes and the result should be only stored in the ARR with the KOS, not other rather than the any other array list or any new array. Just make the changes in the same array. That's it. So the sample 1 test case is ARR is equals to 1 minus 1 3 2 minus 7 minus 5 11 6. So there are three negative numbers minus 1 minus 7 minus 5. So the three numbers in the output are moved to the end, and before that the positive integers, their order is not changed. We can see that the 1 3 2 5 1 3 2 11 6, all the 5 elements are in the same order and also with the negative elements. So this is what they said in the above question. So in the second input, minus 5 7 minus 3 minus 4 9 10 minus 1 11, we can see 1 2 3 4, there are 4 negative numbers and the order is not changed in the output, and the remaining 4 positive integers are 7 9 10 11. So coming to the expected complexities, the time is big O of n. So we need to solve this question in the big O of n times complexity. The constraint is that, and the auxiliary space is also big O of n. So we can use a extra big O of n of space, which is a good thing. So the constraints are negligible, but in some cases the constraints are helped, like a limited number of input sizes will help us in the constant space strategies. But for now, so anytime we will solve the question based on the expected constraints which they gave. So according to them, we will move on to how to solve this question. So in this question, they give big O of n time and big O of n space. So coming to the extra space, so we will be using, so let us write things used. What are the things or any array list or collections we are going to use to solve this program? So we use array lists, loops, and adding, removing. Now mostly these two only. So loops we know to iterate the any collection or any sequence of numbers, and the array list are stored, which is a dynamic sized array. So steps and or logic in solving this program. So we are going to use the array list. So first declare. So declare, let us first declare the approach or the deciding the approach to solve this program. So we will be solving by, we take two array lists. So one is positives and another is negatives. So first we iterate using a loop on the array and check if any current number is a positive number or negative number. If it is a positive number, then move it to the positive list, and if it is negative, then move it to the negative list. So by the end of the loop, in the positive list, all the positive integers are stored in the same order as they appear in the array, and in the negative list, the same way, all the negative numbers are stored in the negative list. So after that, we will use another loop and a custom index I is equals to 0 for the original array, and we keep on with the first loop, we keep on adding all the positive integers to the original array first, because they said the positive all numbers should be come first and followed by the negative numbers. So again in the third loop, we will same with the positive numbers logic, but here traversing the negative numbers list and keep them in the array. So first use toList to segregate the numbers into positive list and negative list. After that, use another two loops, one for the storing first all the positive numbers into the original array, and another loop is storing all the negative numbers after the positives into the original array. These are the three steps we are going to do. So practical steps: declare two array lists. Names we will see in the program directly. So we declare two array lists, positives and negatives. So use a loop to So the second step, we use a loop to check the sign of the number for positive or negative and segregate the numbers based on the sign into the positive list or the negative list. So again, use declare a variable I. I is the index to track the current index which we need to store the elements in the I using the array. So I is the variable to track the current insert position from the list in the array. That's it. So use a loop to the another loop is also used. Use a loop to store all the elements from the positive list into the array, and another loop so completed. So as we made the changes into the in place array, there is no need of any return statement or any returning the output. So we can see the steps are declaring the two array list, so the positive and the negatives, and use a loop to segregate the numbers by their respective signs. So after that segregating, we declare a variable I to track the current position inserting element into the array, and use two loops, one for the positive and one for the negative numbers, to consistently adding them into the original array. So in this question they said first there should be coming the positives and negatives. So we first use the loop to insert positives and negatives. So if in case they said first the negative numbers and the positive numbers, then how can we do? So it is done simply because the negative numbers first and the positive numbers next is basically what it is called as a sorting. So we can just apply the sorting, so all the numbers will be in the as per the specified condition. So coming to this question, we wrote the steps, so just simply follow the steps to solve this program. So step 1 is to declare the two array list. How can we declare the array list? Array list is from the collection framework. So any collection framework class, by declaring, first we write the class name. So what is the class name? It is array list. So array list, What is the type of the array list? It is taken from the array. So int is converted to the object type integer. Integer is a wrapper class of the integer class. It is behind the story. We can discuss later. So positives. So positives, all numbers are stored in the this array list. So initializing the new memory using the new keyword. Again the collection name and some empty brackets. So completed. There was a glitch. So there is another list which is negatives. So same, initializing memory completed. So step 1 is completed. So what is the step 2? Use a loop to check the sign of the number and segregate the numbers. So same, we are using a loop. So our task is to just get the element one by one. So which is the best suitable loop? It is not a normal for loop, it is a for each loop, which is a best simple and suitable for this use case. So for each number, what do? We need to check the sign of the number. So if n is less than 0, so we obviously know it is a negative number. Negatives dot. How can we add a number into the array list? Using the method add. Add takes one parameter. There are many variants of the add, but our required and the basic form is add. The parameter is the number which we need to add. So it is a n number. So if it is not a negative number, then obviously it is a positive number. So dot add n. So if it is a negative number, add to negatives. If it is a positive, add it to positives. So it is done until the end of the array. So step 2 is completed. So now to declare a variable I, the array indexing start by default from the 0, as we all know. So step 3 is also completed. So now step 4 is to use a loop to store all the elements from positive list into the array, because positive numbers should come first. So use a simple loop, again integer n, which is a for each loop, and in which we first get the numbers from the positives, and array of I is equals to n. So recursively all the numbers come from the positives list into the n variable in the loop, and that n variable, n value is stored in the array of ith index. So as we are including or adding the numbers into the original array, we also need to change the insert position by +1+1. So simply I++. So in the same way for the negatives. Negatives where again array of I is equals to n, just the list name is changed in this loop. So if the sample test case is passed, coming to the hidden test cases. So we can see all the test cases are passed. So now one thing is left, which is the complexities analysis. So we know array lists take big of n, means any space which we are initializing, and that space is dependent on the size of the input. So we can see in the first loop we are adding the numbers into the list based on the number of positives and negatives in the given array. So they may be changed. So it is variable or dynamic. So that is why which are dynamic based, or the variable length or variable number of iterations, it is big of n. So this loop is also dependent on the input size. Anything it is dependent on the input size, it is big of n. So int takes a constant space of 4 bytes. We all know. So it is big of 1. Again, this loop depends on the size of the positives. So big of n, big of n. So finalize the complexities. Time is equals to the first one we got from the first loop, big of n plus big of n plus big of n. So it is equals to 3 into big of n. So we all know again, anything into infinity or any high number of value, it is also equal to big of n. So like 3 into infinity is also infinity. So like that. So it is also big of n. So time is big of n. So space, if you add big of n from the first one, again big of n from the second one, and next big of 1 from the integer variable is equals to again big of n, as we all know. So our code time and space complexities are big of n and big of n. So if you match with the expected one, they are both are matching. So this solution is acceptable to this question. So this is how you can solve this program. So kindly go and practice the problem. The program link is given in the description. So thank you for watching. Follow for more videos.